Hello, this is Joe. Today I'm going to show you how I plant cabbage from seeds. It's been a while since I planted cabbage in my garden, but as I said to one of fellow gardener in YouTube, that this year I will give cabbage a go. So I have a golden acre cabbage here, which is it's a variety that don't grow a very big head of cabbage, pardon me, but I have planted this before, and what I got from this was a nice small to medium size cabbage, perfect for my family size, and they were packed, nice and tight heads. So hopefully I'll get the same thing this year, or rather next year. So I'm planting this now, and hopefully we can harvest sometimes 2021 spring. So I'm going to start this from seeds, my cabbage for this year. So what I have here is a seed starting mix, which I have pre-moistened, as you can see. It's an important thing to do once you start your seeds, to start with a good pre-moistened seed starting mix. That way watering it will be much easier, and that you'll be able to put as much, or rather a sufficient amount of soil in there. Sometimes when you think you had enough and you water it, then you realize that the soil level went down drastically because the water compacted it. But by pre-moistening it, you get the right amount of seed starting mix inside the pot. And I'm using peat pot. What I like about this little pot here is that transplanting it is so much easier. I don't have to worry about taking it out of the container or anything like that. And if I find that it's a bit tight, it did not seem to show too much deterioration of the material, I just simply kind of pinch here and there to give it a weak spot for the root to go through. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put some seeds in the pot. I like to put at least 2 in each container because I'd like to be able to have a choice when the seed do germinate. Sometimes you find that one seed is better, or one seedling rather, is better than the other, and you want to be able to have a good choice of seedlings. You want to keep the strongest and best possible seedlings to plant in your garden. Okay, so I'm putting at least 2 to 3 seeds. Okay, now after this is done, I'll go ahead and top this with dry potting mix. The reason why I chose to top it with dry potting mix is so that I can control how much I cover the seeds. When you plant the seeds too deep, it tends to take a while before it germinates. Potting mix, okay. See, giving the right amount of seed starting mix on top of the seeds helps the germination process. Okay, so you don't want to really bury the seeds too deep. And I know that some people actually have measurement on how deep and how far you can plant the seeds according to their size. It's pretty much my rule is never plant your seeds too deep. Okay, that will make for germination process to take place so much easier. Now I'm going to water this well, and I'll give you an update of how this is going according to the time from today planting to the germination, number of germination days, and we'll go on from there. To planting cabbage. Cabbage is a heavy feeder of nitrogen and potash, okay? You want to fortify the soil with nitrogen and potash. And a good source of nitrogen is liquid fish, okay? There are other ways you could fortify this with different source of nitrogen, such as blood meal and other nitrogen sources. Now, for the potash, I'll be using organic liquid kelp. I will also be supplementing some all-purpose fertilizers. It's a good practice to provide the plant with all the necessary nutrients that it might need throughout its growing season. So again, I will point out we need a good amount or a good supply of nitrogen and potash. Now what I have here is a very good potting soil, which I think this level can use a little more. And pardon me, I'll be making a lot of noise here. Let me go ahead and add some more on this. We are going to make sure we plant the cabbage at a very good level so that it could stay, the feeding root, which is right on the surface of the soil, right about this area here, will not be exposed, okay? It's a good idea to cover it well. And so, a little bit more. Okay. That will give me, that is perfect. Now I could cover it, pack it down a little, not too hard. But we want to make sure that we cover the plant, and providing the pot with a good level of soil will then allow you to kind of bring all that soil close to the plant when you need to cover any kind of feeding root, okay? So we got that planted. Now I will be watering this with a mixture of, for the first time I'll be using this all-purpose fertilizer, which provide the nutrients of nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. I will also include, add this to the water, liquid kelp, and liquid fish. For 1 gallon, I will be adding 1 tablespoon of liquid fish and 1 tablespoon of the liquid kelp and a teaspoon of all-purpose. That will go in 1 gallon of water. Okay, so we are going to saturate the soil with the mixture of all the fertilizer, organic fertilizer, if you can, so that we make sure that the plant is off to a good start. I will then come again and give it a good rinse of just plain water, because I like to rinse off all of that fertilizer that's on the leaves while I'm getting my plain water ready. The leaves would absorb some of the nutrient, and then it won't be too much lingering right on the leaves when I rinse it with plain water. So that's how I plant my cabbage, and well, let's just hope, keeping my finger crossed, that it will come to a good result. Okay, let me go get my water. The plant shouldn't go into any kind of transplanting shock, because as you saw how my cabbage were planted into a pit pot like this, which you don't have to take it out of this pot. This deteriorate in no time at all, and or disintegrate, and no need to taking it out. Or if you're concerned, you could easily just tear a little bit here and there to give it a weak spot. But at this point, it's in good shape and it shouldn't go into too much shock. Another thing I'd like to point out is, because I'm keeping this in my porch and I have this planted in this grow bag, I suggest you put it into something that will that will collect the liquid whenever you water it, because as you can see, the water or any liquid you apply into this plant would soak right through, and we don't want it to drain on the floor. So putting it in some kind of container that would hold the liquid will keep your floor safe. Now I planted 2, which I'm going to keep inside my porch, and because I want to be able to observe how it's reacting, or how it's responding to any treatment that I give it. I really would like to learn more about cabbage planting. I have planted this before and I did successfully. I was able to grow it, and it formed the head that I wanted. And it's been a while, it's been a long time. Cabbage is not, to me, it's not an easy plant to grow. I sometimes have problem. So here is the rinse, which is plain water. And okay, as you can see, I have planted all of my cabbage seedlings, and these are 2 stages. The bigger ones that you're seeing, I have planted about I would say 3 weeks ago, before I planted the smaller one. So therefore you have 2 different stages here. That way I don't have to be forced to harvest everything at the same time, if I am so lucky to come up with a good good result out of this cabbage seedlings here. And this one I have not rinsed after I water it with fertilizer mixture. So I just want to rinse the leaves of any excess fertilizer, and make sure that I watered it well. Okay, and as you can see, all of that were transplanted at the same time I transplanted this. This is about 5 to 6 weeks old right here, and the little ones that you're seeing there, right there, back there, those are about 3 to 4 weeks old. Okay, so now we'll just hope that everything turns out right.